So Tom, because we are also chairman of this conference, so we didn't make a welcome word, so maybe you can say a small welcome. And also because you are one of the first speakers at our first event in Munich.
Yes, and this was, when was this? A couple of months ago?
It was a year ago.
A year ago, okay. Time and space is relative, as we know. Yeah, so I'm very happy to support Thomas with this event here. He believes obviously that I can contribute with my experience building companies. He says we follow the sun. I follow the molecule hydrogen, because after the sun we have to store it, right? Big amounts of energy can be stored in hydrogen. This is my mission, my passion. I do this for more than 25 years, and I was able to co-found 2 hydrogen companies. With one, we are celebrating a very big milestone in partnering with Daimler Truck, building now hydrogen trucks with hydrogen internal combustion engines, and we want to roll out 5,000 trucks within the next 5 years to really push the hydrogen into the market. Big challenge, of course, is storage and distribution of hydrogen. So bringing up infrastructure, let's say, is of course a very big challenge. So we know that electric infrastructure is there, but still very limited. And hydrogen infrastructure is needed. So I work also on a second company, Water Stuff and Sun, so the abbreviation WSS you might see, where we develop one-of-a-kind hydrogen storage, a hydrogen battery that can store very efficient hydrogen, but it's also in the end the core element of a rolling hydrogen pipeline and infrastructure we're building at the same time. Yeah, that's me, and we know each other now for, I don't know what to estimate it, for quite some time. And
so Tom actually and his company was the first winner of our World CleanTech Startup Awards at Japan Aqua Power Innovation Award, with the name also of Paddy Padmanabhan, one of the first actually CEO and president of Aqua, who scaled up the company from 17 employees to 40 billion assets companies, and now I think they are around 100 billion.
Yes.
So he was quite successful, for example. Yes, good example. And Tom, you are not yet at this scale. Yes. But I remember from the presentation that you would like to, at the end of the day, also go to bigger scale companies. So I mean, in life it's always like this. Yes, we have a big goal. Yes, and we should never forget about this goal. But still, we need to make things step by step. And how are you able to make, to keep this vision, a big goal in your head, but making step by step approach?
Yeah, I think, big goals, big ambition is very important. I think also it's what's the motivation you have so to achieve your big goals? What drives you, right? So, in my opinion, it's always the passion that is most important. I say if we have to work to make money, this is really hard. If you work to implement your passion, you get up every morning full of energy. Yeah? I see this also in you, and that passion in the end helps you to deal with all kinds of different challenges as an entrepreneur. I think everybody here who's an entrepreneur has recognized all challenges and problems you can have, and to overcome it is not always easy, but if you believe in that, what you're doing, and you follow your passion, you can make it happen. Yeah?
This is very important. And Tom, you are speaker at our event in Romania, and I assume that your startup which was founded in Germany. Yes. So let's say Germany is a country we can say with a good record, yes, in the technology. However, maybe there is not so much still confidence in the startups in the Eastern Bloc. Yes. Maybe there is not even not enough knowledge, yes, about the startups. Yes. So what would be your recommendations? How we can help those startups, to scale up, and how we can bring them to the world?
I mean, first, of course, I need to understand more the boundary conditions. Germany, for sure, is more mature. You have probably more governmental support, more programs where you can get your first, probably your first money to start building a company. On the other hand, it's also a very conservative country, right? Especially if you speak about investors, it's a very conservative behavior mentality. So I can imagine that the mentality in the South European countries can be different, which is a chance, and probably also business angels are ticking in a different way. So that should be an interesting, let's say, field where we can see where we can combine, let's say, different mentalities. The German mentality, they say, is very mature on one hand, but that also brings some challenges, special challenges. This is a very conservative approach and perspective to new projects. And I think in Europe, South Europe, or other European countries that you say, they're probably are more open, more modern, more risk-taking, and combining two mentalities can be indeed very valuable, I can imagine.
So imagine that maybe they can be less conservative, more dynamic, yes. But we should help them to be visible, yes, in the Western world.
Yeah, absolutely. The visibility is very important. You need a platform where you can present your ideas, where you can generate, let's say, the attention of business engines and investors, right? That is, of course, the most important.
And last question, because in our networks, yes. So remember that also in our networks, we have first solar industry, CleanTech industry, hydrogen, water sectors, and through this project we have the opportunity also to meet investors from other ecosystems, chemical industry, etc. Everybody related in some way to sustainability. But I think that those investors, they are always very busy. They don't realize the opportunities in our industries. So what would be your message to those investors? Why they should also consider our CleanTech industries and hydrogen industries, or maybe your company to invest?
Yeah, I mean, Eike said it, right? So I think we are still, even after 20 years, pushing this renewable power and energy projects. We are still in the beginning. And this is not just, if I look to our German government, they see the transformation as something we have. It's a burden. It costs money, right? But it is a huge opportunity, right? It's a huge business opportunity we cannot miss. All the European countries, right? And this is the mindset I think that we have to establish in the society. Yeah? And this is where I believe that the cooperation between European countries can be extremely valuable to understand that this opportunity brings a lot of wealth to all European countries, if we see it as that, and not just a burden where we have to invest money to, let's say, do this energy transformation and all the different aspects you just said. Yeah.
Okay, so Thomas, I think you need to leave, yes, to your book, because later he will host our networking slide, yes, together with CBC. So we'll meet Thomas later on, and as you can see, Thomas is very open for all the discussions. You can invest in his company. You can also invest in some other startups, yes, because he has experience. The most important, he can help startups to scale up, yes, because this is at the end of the day
the challenge.
The challenge. Okay, so thank you so much.